Hey, pod people, it's Joe.
And I'm Kel, and this is Cosmic Connections 101. Welcome to season 2 of our podcast.
Woo!
Finally back from our hiatus officially, and we thought that we would kick off the new season by talking about manifestation. So, Joe, you and I were just talking right before we started recording, and a funny thing just happened because, we have our list of all the stuff we want to talk about on the podcast. And I just noticed that manifestation is on the list twice. It's the only subject that we wrote down twice accidentally. So clearly, we're meant to talk about it today.
Yeah, so we're assuming that I wrote it and then you've written it as well. So clearly it's an important topic for us.
Yes, exactly. And like for me at the moment, it really is at the front of my mind. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because at the moment, like astrology wise, it's the perfect time to manifest because we've just off the back of the new moon energy, and there's a Kazemi as well. And it's just, really the perfect time. Like it feels like it's prime for your dreams to come true. Like that's the energy that I'm feeling at the moment. So I guess we should just sort of talk about how you manifest and how I manifest. I'm sure like it's very similar, even though we've never talked about it, what you do and what I do. But you recently, had a massive manifestation come to fruition, because if you guys remember at the beginning of our first season, Jody was up in the air about, what to do job wise, what's coming into her field and blah blah blah. And now you've manifested a new job in
A
a
new
completely
world.
different like industry, well still education, but after 21 years at your old workplace, it's
Yep.
stepping into new stuff, and all because you manifested it. So
Yeah, so usually lots of people always hear this manifestation, magical thinking sort of stuff. And I've it's like a new word, like it's new language for the now. Like it's kind of hip at the minute. I go, but like we've always done this. We just didn't have the word for it. So for me, it was more. It's just like I just call it visualization. So how I would usually do it without too much like effort is just forward thinking and be going, okay, like this is how my world looks right this minute. Like, what do I feel in my body? What do I want? What do I want to come into my energy field, basically? What's, so then I just start thinking about how, what steps do I also need to, because for me, it's like you can't just magically think things to happen. You've got to do positive steps in order to open
put
it up.
yourself in a situation where that is going to come true, or
Yeah,
research the thing that is in alignment with the manifestation. But
that's
Joe,
right.
like I don't know if I've ever actually mentioned this to you, but
Mm.
I have always just been super impressed with your ability to manifest, because I feel like you're
Oh,
a master manifester, like
really?
literally, because you are the kind of person who you just be like, I don't know how, but I'm going to get 10 grand. And then you do.
I
So, like,
guess.
honestly, I feel like that is a gift that maybe you don't even really see within yourself, but from externally looking inward at you, I've always, and I don't use that term lightly either. Like, I really believe that you're a master of manifestation, because your mind
Thanks.
has the ability to create your reality, and like almost instantly now. Like, your ability to manifest is so fast and it's so impressive. Like, I just wanted to put that out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, we've never really talked about it before. And yeah, I do kind of undersell certain stuff because yeah, now that you've mentioned it, things
Yeah.
do happen a lot more quicker now. I think it's I think I think it's more just like self-belief and just being able to see that it's a reality, and then it just happens to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I always like, from when you, like, for example, we're talking about, manifesting this new job and everything, like in my mind, there was no doubt for me that you would manifest that for yourself, because I've seen it in real time for you and how quickly you manifest things. Like, I
Wow.
don't, it's hard for people listening to understand what I'm talking about because, you know, obviously we're in contact all the time,
Yep.
but it is just unbelievable how fast. Like, if you try to manifest something for tomorrow at lunchtime, it'll happen. Like, for you, like, I swear to God, like, you are a master manifester. And I've always just
Right.
been like, you know, that's something that I strive to be, like, be able to manifest as quickly as you, because I just feel like that's such a gift that you maybe weren't aware of, and just
Definitely
wanted
not.
to, yeah, flag it, flag it with
I'm
you.
mind blown right now because I'm like, oh yeah, this
But when you
combo
think
is
back,
definitely,
right,
yeah.
like, you think of how fast you manifest things, like literally so quickly, faster than anyone I ever have come across.
And now that I think about it, it's like sometimes I'm not even manifesting stuff for myself. I'll just have this very strong impression and I can see something about to happen. So I
Mm.
remember even when I just, when I met Shivy, one of my besties,
Hi, Shivy.
hi
Shout out,
Shivy,
Siobhan.
Shivy, over there in NZ at the minute. But yeah, I remember after I first met her and stuff, I just knew instantly, like, we're always going to have this special connection. But then I always knew we're never going to live in the same
Wow.
area. And I always knew she would be one of them. She would have to live further away and
Yeah.
she'd be, and I'd always say that to her. And even before I met like my husband, ex-husband, I knew that he'd be coming from overseas.
Mm.
Like there's all these things that now that I think about it, I'm like, I see things and then it does happen, but I didn't call it that. I just knew.
Yeah, it's like you have a gift of foresight and then you're able to bring that into your reality because the emotion that's attached to it. Because that's the way that we manifest, right? It's like not just about thinking of a thing. You have to physically feel that, how it feels, you know, in your body, emotional attachment, all of that. That is how we manifest, and bring things into this timeline, into this reality. So for
Yeah, it's
you,
pretty wild.
something is crystal clear where there's no doubt in your mind that this is the thing that's going to happen, like your
Yep.
gift of foresight, and then you make it happen.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Wow.
like
Mate, I need
it's
to
amazing.
get focused because I don't do it a lot. I just like sometimes I have these really strong feelings. Like when it was like my work situation, I just knew and it had come around. Remember, this was like the second time, and I kept
Yeah.
trying to push it away, going, oh no, no, no. It was out of fear. And then when I let go of fear and just went, you know what? I have no idea what is next. I am quitting a job that, I love education. I've been there for 21 years, all different sort of things. I don't know what's next, but I know without effort, I'm going to land another job. It's going to land in my lap. It's going to be effortless. It's going to be a new direction, but stuff that I still love. I'm going to be able to work in a safe, comfortable environment and feel passionate again.
And you're
And
going to be
then,
able to start when you want to, and you're going to be paid the amount that you
oh
need,
yeah,
and all of
I
that.
did do
Like,
that as well.
you write your laundry list of wants and then you get it. Like,
Yeah, well, that is true for this
yeah.
situation.
Like,
And I just trusted
seriously.
it.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, that's just something that, all of us really need to kind of, take note of because you are like a genius at it.
Oh God, don't
No,
ask me to tell you exactly what I
I
do.
it's like, because, you know, you always say that you know, you don't know what your spiritual gifts are or whatever. It's because stuff comes to you so naturally. You think it's easy. You think that everyone can do this, right? Like, you think that is just a normal thing that you've always done forever and ever. You don't think that as a big deal, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
that's
think,
because it's like, you know, something that you are, you know, you've mastered, and it's just so, it's second nature to you.
oh, actually, I think yeah, like when you say it like that, I used to practice,
Hmm.
like just with little things that were meaningless.
Like,
Like
example.
I'd always go, okay, mastermind, um, please deliver me like a red balloon in an unexpected place today.
So how old were you when you started doing stuff like that?
I don't know, I must be a teenager, I reckon.
Yeah, and see, like, something like that, a red balloon, like, you know, outside or wherever you are, it's like, it's so random that it
Yeah.
has to be what you asked for, you know?
Yeah, and then it'll be so then it's like in my head, my logical brain will go, a physical balloon is
Yeah.
going to cross my path or something.
But it could
But
be in
in
a book.
actuality, it started off with something different. Like I was behind someone, and on their car was a sticker of that. But usually I wouldn't pay attention, but then I seen it and I was like, oh, and then I felt the jolt.
Yeah.
And I was
And that's
like, oh,
important too, what you just said. You're feeling
yeah,
the jolt, because when you are manifesting and you feel that, it is actually pulling you into that timeline and making sure that you are in sync with your wishes. You know, it's
yep,
like, okay, you're
correct.
following the right path. Like we
And
need
then,
those
yeah, it's
physical
like,
feelings of like, yes, you're getting it. Like you're
yeah,
doing the good thing. You're doing it
it's
right.
confirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what would happen. I'd get like a knowingness, but then it's like a thud and sensation in my body where I was like, oh, this is just not a coincidence. Because then, of course, you need a signier sign, which is what we
Yeah.
always laugh about. Because then it's like,
Always.
oh, well, that was interesting, but let's see if it's real. And
Yeah.
if I do this, this, and this, let's really see if it happens.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do. I would challenge myself just to do little things like that. And then I guess because I don't really, well, I don't think I ask for things that are really outside of like my scope.
Yeah,
I
like
don't ask for
keep it
crazy big
in the
things like
realm of, yeah, like
reality.
possibility for our life. It's like you
Yeah,
can't
like,
be like, okay, tomorrow I want to have $1 billion in my bank. Like,
yeah,
it's not realistic. So
no, and I don't care like about, like, I don't know, I just like I'm in a comfort zone thing. Like I don't need X amount of money. I just always go, money flows and it's energy and it comes in and it comes out, it's replaceable. Like I don't put much emphasis on it.
yeah,
And so that's what's always happened. Like it just keeps coming
comes
in.
easily. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like with the job, I was like, okay, well, I'm going on leave for a couple of months and I don't want to work until this specific date. And then that's what the contract date was that I
Yeah.
was offered.
Yeah.
And it was
And
months away.
yeah, and it's like, it's because you just have this contentment in your body, like you said, where like you're not stressing about an outcome or anything, because you know
I know
that
what's going to
it's
happen.
fine. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important for us to all be in that headspace and in our body when we are manifesting, because that is how we make things in, like actually appear in our reality. So for me, I'm finding that I'm manifesting a lot faster now too, but yeah, not like you, but for me, like it's faster to the point where I've noticed.
Yeah.
And I guess like my way of manifesting is, like I used to go into a deep meditation and really focus on what it is that I'm wanting. So the last time I did something major like that was when I was trying to move back to Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like a huge integration and meditation and really, really felt it in my body to the point of, I felt overwhelmed, like I wanted to cry, like just, imagining being back in Sydney and how my life would look and everything like that. And I knew that when it was going to happen, and as soon as my son and I checked out this apartment, like it was exactly what I envisioned and everything, so I'm just like, I had that turnaround in like a month kind of thing from when I manifested it. So that was like a major thing for me. But now it's more showing up in like, financial stuff, like you said, with abundance, flows easily to me. Like that's always been an issue for me, is just that poverty mindset. But now I've really flip that on its head and just am manifesting in like different ways of like, okay, yes, I had a car accident and that is horrible, but on the flip side of that, that's going to save me money, and the money that I would spend on the car and all of that is a different way of having abundance in my life, because now I have other options. My world's opened up in a different way that I didn't even imagine,
Nope.
just different options and whatever. So it's expanded my worldview and just given me a bit more freedom now.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's like letting go of the how, when, what, and like think that we have to
the
plan it all out. It's just
specifics.
trusting
Yeah.
that it's going to come to you in the way that it's meant to, because obviously you wouldn't have pictured this pathway.
No, exactly. So it's like, imagine, okay, like, you know, if you're sitting in this, because like I said, I used to go into heavy meditation. Now it's more like, okay, before I go to sleep, I'll just sit in my body and feel the feeling of whatever it is. So, okay, let's, for example, if you're talking about financial freedom, the key word there is freedom. You want to have the freedom to be able to buy the things you want and whatever. You don't want to have the stress around where is my money coming from and all of that. So, you know, you feel how that feels in your body of like, okay, you know, imagine if I could just go buy something and not stress about how much is in my bank account, and sit in that feeling in your heart space of freedom. And so that's what I just do now in bed. Like, you know, as I'm falling asleep, I just feel like into that energy instead of going into the full kind of, you know, meditation, because I have found that that works for me now. You know, I don't need to do the whole, like, you know, setting up with crystals and like the whole process for me.
Yeah, this is what happens, right? You don't need all the tools. It's like you are the tool.
Yeah, your
It's
mind
like you're setting
is
yourself. Yeah, your
tool.
mind is the
Your
thing
mind
that's
and your heart
visualizing.
space.
Yep, those two things. Sometimes they clash, but
Yeah.
like in this sense, we're talking about the hardwiring of your brain, or the neurotransmitters and stuff. What you're doing is picturing that reality, because like it's like anything. It's like if I was to say, imagine cutting a lemon in half and smelling it. It's like your brain, and like it can smell it, it sees it, it knows.
Yeah.
So it's like, but we don't have one in front of us.
Yeah. It's
But
like,
we've just manifested that whole thing just right then. And
and
so
it's
then what you're
real
doing,
then. Yeah.
it's real. You can smell it, that sour crap, if you wanted to lick it. See, I can yeah. Unless you're Auntie Donna, she would put salt on it and then eat it like an apple. Gross.
So it's like, yeah, exactly. It's
See,
like,
it's
you know,
that.
having the feeling and the knowing and, you know, combining it all together for it to be real, because our mind doesn't know the difference between a physical object that's in front of you and your brain waves of what it's putting out there.
100%.
And that's why it's really important as well, like, you know, to remember that in like everyday life, because we manifest our own reality every single day. So if you're thinking, you know, something bad, you will create that reality for yourself. So, I mean, a good way to just kind of mitigate that as well, if you think of some bad scenario, you can literally just be like, oh, no, cancel that timeline, you know, just imagine a racer, you know, like rubbing out that reality for you and just like, no, I'm not in, you know, bringing that into my world. And just think about the positive side of it or whatever, because that really is how powerful our thoughts are. Like we can literally create a whole new reality for ourselves instantly. You got to watch what you think.
Yeah, it sounds wild, doesn't it? But then when you think back of all the little, because usually we sort of mini plan our chats and everything, but tonight instantly we were just like, no, you had your idea, and I'm like, yep, I can go with that. And then it's like we can instantly just talk about it. But now that I'm thinking about other sort of things, it's just that no, like for me, when you're talking about how you used to have a little setup, like in my head, I'm like, God, I would never have thought to do that.
Yeah, because it's just comes so easily to you, like I said. But you know, with this podcast in and of itself, like this, us recording right now, I manifested this because I was thinking prior to you texting me saying like, you know, do you want to do a podcast tomorrow? I was thinking about, okay, if we, you know, had so much to say on one episode, like how we can kind of clip it together so the conversation flows if we cut it up and, you know, I was just like thinking on the tech side of things. And then you about like, literally half an hour later is when you texted me and you're like, you know, you want to do a podcast. So I'm like, you know, stuff like that, where even with my spiritual mentor, like I'll think of, you know, oh, I need to bring this up with Annalie, and then she'll bring it up with me, you know, and it's like just manifesting those kinds of scenarios to come into your reality. And for me now, thankfully, stuff like that is happening super quickly, because that helps me know that we're on the same wavelength.
Yep, you're in the same.
Yeah, like you and I and Annalie and I, and even you and Annalie, like, you know, we're
never met her. Never met her. She's a friggin' legend.
Yeah, we're all like on the same kind of, you know, like thought patterns and everything like that. And so that just kind of gives me confirmation that I am on the right path, because we're in sync, you know?
Yep. And it's in alignment. And this is what happens when I'm talking to like my friends and people that, you know, that I'm most connected to as well. They seem to be going through similar in a different way. And I'm just like, wow, how mind blowing is it? Like, that you can be in such an alignment with different people that you've sometimes you're not having day-to-day like conversations with and everything, but it's like you're literally on this same flow.
Yeah,
And then that's
exactly.
when you always talk about like the energy of the world and all the rest of it. And I'm always just like, I don't know, Kel, what's going on out there? Because this is how I'm feeling right now. What's going down?
Yeah, because like, you know, we manifest the people in our lives, and you know, you can manifest, obviously, like a lot of people want to manifest a partner, want to manifest you know, spiritual friends and stuff like that. So that's always going to happen, because when you raise your vibration, like attracts like. So it's, you know, it's always good to remember when you're manifesting that you have to always feel it in your heart space, because the people who are manifesting you, like, you're connected. And yeah, it's just like the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah, and to add to the energy stuff, like I always think of it now too as like my soul is like the magnetic field, and like other magnets, you know, you're boom, you're just at the right time, you're just connected to the right people, because that's what we are, a magnetic field as well as energy. So of course it's like the right sort of people are going to click and connect at the right time.
Yeah.
And I always believe that I have bring them into my world, and it's for a particular purpose. A lot of them do last a like a lifetime, like most of mine, but then some it's like, yeah, it's only for
A season.
a few mad lessons that sometimes you don't realize at the start, but then later on reflection, you go, oh, thank you, gratitude for every experience, because even though I might not be conscious that's what I needed, I've learnt so much. And so everything, that's the next part of it, which is where you're always grateful for the
Yeah.
receiving, to being open to receive it, because sometimes we block ourselves too.
Yeah, exactly. And especially, you know, like when it does come to relationships and stuff like that, like we really need to sometimes have those you know, reality checks in the form of other people. And so we manifest those experiences into our lives so that we can have that for spiritual growth. But we also, you know, we can get stuck in the trap of manifesting the same type of person over and over again because we don't learn our lessons,
Haven't
you
learned.
know. That's a whole other kind of topic to
I
get
think,
into.
I also think the quickest and easiest way for people to really understand manifesting is like something really basic as well. It's like, you know, when you wake up in the morning and you stump your toe, or you just already feel shit and you're like, oh, yeah. And then guess what? That's what happens for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
It's
because
like
you just put it out
you're
there
drawing that same,
energetically.
yeah, you got that same negative mindset, or you're like, oh, I only ever meet, and then
Yeah,
it's like that's what happens, because
yeah,
you've
exactly.
helped yourself create that mind space. Like your brain is firing off that into the real world.
Yeah.
You're imagining it, it's happening.
You
So
know,
that's all you see.
just on that, like a activity, I guess you'd say, that I used to do, to see if I could manifest my day, was before I got out of bed, I would, in my mind's eye, imagine how my day is gonna pan out. Like, you know, literally from, okay, when I get dressed and leave the house, I get to the bus stop and I'll wait there for 2 minutes, and then the bus will come. And when I get on the bus, this is the spot that I'll get on my
Yep.
seat. Like I would do that. I would run through my whole day and just see, you know, see what
Jeez.
would happen, because I felt like it was just, you know, practicing
It
manifesting and
is.
like creating my reality, like not just manifesting, you know, whatever, but just like, okay, you know, can I play around with my reality to the point of making everything happen, you know? Which is
Yep.
very exciting to do when you think about it. Because I like to think of my reality as like The Sims, you know?
Of course you would.
Because it
You
is
and
like, you know,
Kiara.
you think of it as a simulation and you are your own controlled, you know, player. So yeah, it's like one of those things where I think of manifestation like that now, of like it's a game. Like
Yeah.
what
It's like,
can
what am I
I
building?
yeah, what can I manifest? What can I bring into my reality? And I
Yep.
don't take it so seriously anymore. Whereas before it was coming more from a place of stress and fear of like,
Mountain.
I need money, like I need money to
Yeah.
pay this bill. And, you know, it was more from that kind of headspace.
And
But
now it's
we
gratitude and
know
fun.
with, yeah, manifesting, if you're in a constant state of need, you're always going to need. It's never going to be abundant enough, you know, to be sustainable. Like you're always going to be in that state of like, needing. and that it's just going to be a pattern that goes on forever. So I've really shifted my mindset around that kind of stuff, and not feeling like, okay, I want this, I need this. It's like, I already am full of abundance, and that would, you know, contribute to this, you know, my reality and how it feels. But, you know, it's like, I want to overflow with abundance, you know?
Yeah, it's
I
like
want the bare minimum.
Yeah, you're detaching from the outcome and you're just releasing it out and going, well, I know it will happen.
Yeah.
Like the time frame, yeah, cool, whatever. It's like, but you're detached from it. You're just like, okay, I can let go and be free. And then when it comes into play, it's like, oh, cool, sweet, yep, I knew it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not you pining away waiting for this one little thing to happen. You get on with life and you do other things, and next minute, there it is.
And also just like, you know, giving up the idea of, what it's supposed to look like or how you want it to look like, because, you know, the universe works in mysterious ways, you know, and it's going to show up in a way that you wouldn't have even thought of.
Actually, the one thing, Kel, remember that mum always would do is about manifesting the car spot, because you know she's so bloody anal about where you know her rules. She's only driving at 7:30 a.m. to the one car spot, and if it's out of that, she's not doing it. But I'm like, it taught me anyway I manifest car spots all the time, or even in the car with Kiara today. I'm like, okay, I can see it. My car spot's the second aisle to the right. There's a thing on the right, and we'll go there, and it's waiting.
Yeah, I'm the same as that. But for me, it's more like I ask Archangel Walter to help me find a parking spot. And then I will.
Is it Archangel Walter?
Yeah, he helps with parking spots.
Really? No idea. Now, Uncle
and then
Walt?
I'll get like just, you know, like the feeling of, okay, go up 2 levels and go the first right. And then there'll be a parking spot around there for you. And it always works. I mean, I don't have to worry about that so much now. No.
Yeah, since you don't have a car.
But it's like one of those things as well. Like you can test yourself, just a little, you know, thing that, you know,
that's a good one
to see. But I was going to say, Jo, actually, before I say that, another thing that mum used to do, remember on the fridge, she would have like a $5 note stuck up there.
Yeah, she still does that.
Money. Yeah, like mum.
She's got it on the mirror.
Yeah,
and she's got a little mantra that she says, abundance and bring forth, yada yada yada.
Or dead or something. Or,
yeah, she's still got that.
A good thing, like a visual, like, you know, to have.
Yeah, she helped with that stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so since you're, you know, like so good at manifesting, what advice would you give to somebody, just say like Kiara's age, you know, 18, early, you know, like early 20s, whatever? What is some little, like, you know, what's an easy way to start manifesting and just getting on that kind of path?
See, for me, the meditation thing is always a bit more difficult, but that's exactly the kind of state you go into. So for me, I would just do what's comfortable. So I like being outside by the river or looking at trees or something, but like you can do it anywhere. I just literally visualize what I want. But then I do get specific to a point. But I let go of the real want and desire and need for it to happen.
Yeah, you just put it out there and then release it.
Yeah, like and then in my soul, like I just know that it's gonna happen. So it's realistic things for me. Like I said, it's not something that's way out there, but physically all I do is I can literally see it happening, and then I feel the sensations, like what you're saying. It's like you got to feel it like it's actually happened.
Yeah.
And then you just carry that with you, and then you don't think about it anymore, but you just got that sensation like it's already there. So this contentment, and then when it does happen, it's not a surprise. It's just like, oh, and then it's the gratitude.
Yeah.
So it's like this flow where you've got to just believe, visualize, detach, let go of the outcome. And then when it really does happen, because it will, if it's realistic and the time it's meant to be, then it's the gratitude. So that's the cycle for me.
Yeah. And I guess people like could practice, like we said, you know, with something small of like, okay, can you please show me a koala today? And imagine what it feels like to see the koala, and do all the steps that you just said. And then like do little things like that to practice manifesting. So then you get more confident in your ability to manifest, and then you'll be manifesting things that are bigger, or just like something.
And if you really want to test it, I would ask for the same thing a couple of times, like in that day.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh, it was a fluke, or that
Yeah.
was, whatever. I'm looking for it now, so now that's why I can see it. It's like when you buy a brand new yellow car and you've never seen them before, then now all of a sudden there's 20 of them right next to you
Or
at the lights.
when you're trying to have a baby and then
Baby, and everyone's
pregnant.
See, it's that, and you're like, it's because
Yeah.
now you're thinking of it. See, it's in the reality. It's already come round.
Yeah.
So it's that visualizing for me.
And
What
I
do you
guess
like?
too,
What do you?
like with manifesting, I like to think of it as like, a reason that it has dropped into your consciousness is because it exists for you somewhere in another timeline, another dimension, another reality. And so it's come into your headspace for a reason, because it exists. So it's already yours. And like when you put yourself into that frame of mind of like, okay, it's already mine, I just have to wait for me to reach that point, it kind of does take the burden off of it, really, because like you just relax about it then. Just like, okay, well, I just have to wait, however long it takes to catch up,
I know.
And then I guess
And then
as time goes on, like that catch up time is shorter and shorter.
quicker.
And then you don't have to, like be waiting for as long. Because, I don't know if I actually told you this, but when it was the Lionsgate portal, the 8th of the 8th, a couple of Tuesdays ago, when I was doing my meditation, I had like a drop-in that was saying about how our manifestation abilities have going to be, like they're amped up now. And like that was my kind of DNA activation of being able to manifest a lot faster now. But it's not just for me, that's like all of us.
Everyone.
So that's why it's like really important to, I guess, just practice manifestation so that the things that you are bringing into your reality are things that you want, not things that you're attracting because you're thinking how much you don't want it. Because your brain doesn't know the difference. Like you're putting these thought patterns out there. If you're thinking, oh, I hope I don't hurt myself. I hope I don't hurt myself. Like,
all it hears is hurt myself.
Yeah, it's just like, you're bringing that to you. So if you're thinking like, okay, I am so healthy and my body is strong and all of this sort of stuff, like that is the stuff you need to be putting out there. It is like you said, like just rewiring your brain and your thought patterns. And then you are like a magnet and you bring this stuff to you, like it's pulled to you.
Yeah, and then it becomes a bit more effortless. Like sometimes, like you said, I've never really thought about it the way that you've been talking about it and like how I've been able to do it. I just think, oh yeah, that's cool when that happens. Like I don't really think of it as something special, like you said. But now I'm like, now it's in my consciousness.
Yeah. Because for
be
me,
like,
the way I think of things is from that multidimensional mindset of like quantum leaping and timelines and all of that kind of shifting stuff. So for me, that's how I can visualize it. So for you, because you've been doing it for so long and forever, it's just integrated for you into this reality where it's so like ingrained in you and you're so positive and certain that a thing's going to happen, is that like there's no way it's not going to happen for you. Like 100% happen.
Yeah, I didn't even know that it was called manifesting. I just thought, oh yeah, that's just, you just know.
Yeah, it's like just wish fulfillment,
Yeah, it's like, okay.
You used to just say putting it out there.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there.
I'm putting it out there. This is going to happen. I know it. I feel it. I trust the universe. I'm jumping and they'll catch me. That's what I always say.
Yeah, because it's like after the book The Secret is when like law of attraction, manifestation, all those buzzwords kind of came out.
Yeah, that's right.
Prior to that, we used to just say putting it out there.
Yeah, vibing it. Yeah, that's it's pretty interesting to even think about how people do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And I guess I'd like to like put it out there that this podcast, reaches the right ears and the right people and, who have the same intentions as us to grow and be part of our community. Like that's my manifestation.
Magnetic hearts, high vibe energy. It'll be good. We hope you can manifest great things for yourself. Start practicing with the small stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And let us know as well. Like if you manifest something and you know, like you're excited about it and you don't have anyone else to tell, like tell us. If you're like, I manifested extra money and I found $5 on the street, like, you know,
Woohoo!
I want to know, tell me.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's good fun. We should practice all the fun stuff all the time
Yeah,
instead of the big
100%.
stuff.
Because that's exciting because it's a visual thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah,
it.
it just makes it exciting. You know, it's
Oh,
happening.
oh, that was good.
Yay,
See, now
manifestation.
manifesting positive vibes,
Yeah,
peeps. Positive
positive vibes and
vibes.
good conversations.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Sounds like a plan. Until next time, right?
Yeah,
Over and outie.
thank you for listening.